A phone
I
call
don't
that sounds
understand. These
urgent,
charges weren't
even
mine.
helpful.
How could someone
There was
access
no
my
forced
account?
entry.
Please
No
help me.
alarm sounded. No witnesses called police. Yet thousands of Americans woke up to the same discovery. Their money was gone. Kindly subscribe to our channel as we continue. In the first 9 months of 2025 alone, financial fraud losses in the United States climbed past $12 billion. Most victims never met the person responsible. Some never even heard their real voice. Investigators say a new era of crime is unfolding, one where conversations replace weapons and trust becomes the target. And as technology improves, these crimes are becoming harder to detect and easier to commit. So how did financial crime become one of the fastest growing threats in America? For decades, financial scams existed in obvious forms: suspicious emails, strange phone calls, promises that felt unrealistic. Many people simply ignored them. But the world changed. Banking moved to smartphones. Investing became accessible with a few taps. Businesses operated through email and cloud systems. Convenience expanded, and so did opportunity. Criminal groups began studying online behavior. They observed how people communicate, invest, and respond to urgency. Soon, fraud was no longer random. It became strategic. Organizations like the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network started tracking increasing reports of complex scams involving layered transactions and international networks. Meanwhile, Homeland Security investigations warned that financial crime was blending technology with psychological manipulation. But one question stood out to researchers: why were experienced, financially cautious adults still falling victim? Early digital expansion. As online services grew, fraud attempts increased gradually. Most incidents were isolated and small. They rarely captured national attention. But data analysts later noticed connections between complaints. Patterns suggested coordination rather than coincidence, and that coordination continued to evolve. Operational growth. By the early 2000s, fraud operations began resembling customer service centers. Individuals worked scheduled shifts, scripts guided conversations, supervisors monitored interactions. Victims described polite, patient communicators who built rapport over weeks. Trust formed slowly. Financial requests appeared only after relationships felt genuine. The approach was simple: remove suspicion before introducing risk. Then another development changed the landscape entirely: artificial intelligence integration. Artificial intelligence tools enhanced communication quality. Messages became personalized. Responses felt immediate. Language barriers diminished. In some cases, voice cloning allowed scammers to imitate family members or executives. Business environments became vulnerable. Employees received realistic instructions appearing to originate from leadership. Payments were redirected without suspicion. Investigators realized technology was amplifying credibility, but the full impact would only become visible in national loss figures. The 2025 surge reports compiled throughout 2025 revealed unprecedented losses. Investment schemes dominated totals. Business email compromise incidents followed closely. AI-assisted impersonation scams emerged rapidly. Older Americans experienced particularly severe losses. Many had significant savings accumulated over decades. Savings criminals viewed as high-value targets. Yet statistics alone cannot capture the human experience behind financial crime. To understand that, investigators often reconstruct a typical scenario, and that scenario follows a recognizable pattern. The crime: trust as an entry point. A conversation begins. It may start with a social media message or a professional email. The sender appears knowledgeable and respectful. There is no pressure, only discussion. Gradually, the topic shifts toward opportunity: an investment platform, a business transaction, a time-sensitive request. Visual dashboards show growth. Documents appear legitimate. Communication continues daily, reinforcing credibility. Eventually, money moves. At first, small amounts, then larger transfers. Everything seems normal until withdrawal becomes impossible. Communication slows. Explanations change. Silence follows. In corporate environments, the process unfolds differently, but with equal speed. An urgent payment instruction arrives. The message looks authentic. Verification feels unnecessary. Funds transfer, and immediately disperse through multiple accounts. By the time discrepancies are discovered, recovery becomes difficult. Investigators describe these crimes as engineered experiences, every step designed to feel reasonable. But once victims report losses, the focus shifts to tracing what happened next, and that journey often crosses borders. Investigation. Following digital footprints. Financial crime investigations begin quietly. There are no crime scenes, only records. Bank transactions reveal pathways of movement. Communication logs show interaction timelines. Analysts construct maps connecting accounts, devices, and identities. Frequently, funds pass through intermediaries unaware of their role. These individuals, known as money mules, unknowingly assist transfers. Other accounts are created using fabricated identities. Investigators collaborate with financial institutions to flag suspicious patterns. Regulatory frameworks require reporting of unusual activity. Technology companies deploy automated detection tools, but adaptation remains constant. Criminal methods evolve in response to defensive measures. Investigators often describe the work as piecing together fragments of a dispersed puzzle. Sometimes progress leads to coordinated enforcement actions. Other times, funds vanish beyond reach. Yet even partial disruption can prevent future incidents. Still, enforcement alone cannot solve the problem, which brings attention to prevention. Outcome: an expanding response. As financial crime escalated, agencies expanded joint efforts. Information sharing improved across institutions. Public awareness campaigns encouraged verification of unsolicited financial requests. Banks introduced enhanced monitoring and customer alerts. International partnerships targeted organized fraud networks operating across jurisdictions. Some operations were dismantled. Assets were seized. Suspects were identified. But experts emphasize that financial crime operates within a dynamic ecosystem. Technology evolves continuously. Communication channels multiply, and social engineering techniques refine with experience. While enforcement progresses, resilience becomes equally important. Education, skepticism, and reporting play critical roles in reducing harm. Yet the broader challenge persists. Can awareness keep pace with innovation? Reflective close. The invisible battlefield. Financial crime unfolds quietly. It does not leave physical damage, but its effects ripple through households, retirement plans, and businesses. The billions lost in 2025 reflect more than successful scams. They signal a transformation in criminal strategy, a movement away from physical confrontation toward digital persuasion. Today, trust itself has become a vulnerability. Investigators continue adapting, technology continues advancing, and individuals continue navigating an increasingly complex digital world. Perhaps the most powerful defense remains awareness, the willingness to pause, verify, and question unexpected requests. Because in an environment where conversations can be manufactured, authenticity becomes harder to recognize. And as financial crime continues evolving behind screens and messages, one question remains unresolved. How do we protect trust when trust is exactly what criminals exploit?